Mounting dry-type transformers on rooftops instead of in electrical rooms presents several potential concerns and challenges that should be carefully considered. Firstly, environmental factors play a significant role. Extreme temperatures can negatively impact transformer performance and lifespan, as transformers operate best within a specific temperature range. Rooftop exposure to extreme heat or cold can cause issues. Secondly, wind and seismic activity are crucial considerations. The transformer should be securely anchored to withstand high winds and potential seismic events. This requires robust mounting and anchoring systems. Thirdly, moisture and corrosion pose a threat. Rain, snow, and condensation can lead to corrosion and insulation damage if the enclosure, typically an M3R enclosure, is not properly sealed and maintained. Moving on to accessibility and maintenance, limited space can be a factor. Roofs may be congested with other equipment such as heating, ventilation, and air conditioning units, making access and maintenance difficult. Proper planning is essential to ensure adequate workspace around the transformer. The height and safety aspects of rooftop work are important. Working on a roof requires specialized equipment and adherence to strict safety precautions to prevent falls and other accidents. Weather conditions can also impact maintenance. Maintenance during inclement weather can be risky and challenging, potentially delaying necessary repairs. Structural considerations are also paramount. Roof capacity is a primary concern, so the transformer and enclosure must be lightweight enough not to exceed the roof's load-bearing capacity. A structural engineer should assess the roof's ability to support the added weight. Mounting brackets and supports must be robust enough to support the weight of the transformer and withstand environmental forces such as wind and snow loads. The mounting system must be properly designed and installed. Roof penetration for running conduit and grounding wires through the roof can create potential leak points and damage the roof membrane. Careful sealing and waterproofing techniques are necessary to prevent water intrusion. Electrical concerns require careful attention. Grounding is crucial for safety and transformer protection. The rooftop enclosure must provide a reliable ground connection to prevent electrical hazards. Lightning exposure is also a factor, as transformers on the roof are more exposed to lightning strikes, which can damage the equipment and pose a safety hazard. Lightning protection measures may be necessary. Conductor length considerations are important. The increased distance between the transformer and the electrical room may require larger conductor sizes for power and control circuits to minimize voltage drop. Noise and vibration are additional factors to consider. Large dry-type transformers may generate audible noise, which can be a concern for nearby occupants or sensitive equipment. Vibration isolation techniques may be necessary. Transformers can transmit vibrations to the building structure, which may be noticeable in adjacent spaces. Vibration dampening measures can help mitigate this issue. Other considerations include building codes and regulations. Local building codes and electrical regulations may have specific requirements for rooftop transformer installations, including clearances, safety features, and grounding requirements. Insurance coverage is also a factor. Insurance companies may have higher premiums for rooftop transformers due to the increased risks associated with weather exposure and accessibility. The aesthetic impact of a rooftop transformer enclosure should also be considered, as it can alter the appearance of the building. Proper planning can minimize its visual impact. In summary, if possible, explore other options within the building before resorting to a rooftop installation. If a rooftop installation is unavoidable, it's critical to engage with qualified engineers, contractors, and insurance professionals to address the potential concerns and ensure a safe and reliable installation. This includes a detailed structural analysis of the roof, a comprehensive grounding plan, appropriate weather protection measures, and compliance with all applicable codes and regulations. Furthermore, regular maintenance and inspections are essential to identify and address any potential issues before they escalate. Consider the environmental conditions prevalent in Indianapolis, including temperature extremes, snow loads, and wind speeds, when designing and installing the rooftop transformer. The National Electrical Code, commonly referred to as the NEC, provides guidance on various aspects of electrical installations, including transformers. Article 450 covers transformers in detail, addressing issues such as overcurrent protection, grounding, and location. When installing a transformer on a rooftop, several sections of Article 450 are particularly relevant. Section 450.1 covers guarding of transformers to prevent accidental contact by unauthorized personnel. On a rooftop, this may involve providing a suitable enclosure or barrier around the transformer. Section 450.13 addresses ventilation requirements for transformers. Adequate ventilation is essential to prevent overheating, especially in warmer climate. The enclosure should be designed to allow for proper airflow around the transformer. Section 450.21 covers location requirements for transformers. It specifies that transformers should be readily accessible for inspection and maintenance. This is particularly important on a rooftop where access may be more challenging than in an electrical room. Section 450.3 provides guidance on transformer overcurrent protection. Proper overcurrent protection is essential to prevent damage to the transformer in the event of a fault or overload. The overcurrent protection devices should be sized and coordinated according to the transformer's rating and the connected load. Section 450.10 covers transformer grounding. Proper grounding is essential for safety and to minimize the risk of electrical shock. The transformer enclosure and the transformer's neutral point should be grounded in accordance with the NEC requirements. Section 450.11 addresses transformer marking. Transformers must be marked with their voltage, current, and other relevant information. This information is essential for proper installation and maintenance. In addition to Article 450, other sections of the NEC may also be relevant to rooftop transformer installations. Article 250 covers grounding and bonding requirements. Article 300 covers wiring methods. Article 310 covers conductor requirements. When selecting conductors for the transformer installation, it's essential to consider the ampacity of the conductors, the voltage drop, and the environmental conditions. The conductors must be sized to carry the transformer's full load current without overheating. Voltage drop should be minimized to ensure that the connected equipment receives adequate voltage. The conductors must also be suitable for the environmental conditions, including exposure to sunlight, moisture, and temperature extremes. Regarding grounding, the NEC requires that the transformer enclosure and the transformer's neutral point be grounded to a common grounding electrode system. The grounding electrode system should consist of one or more grounding electrodes, such as ground rods, ground plates, or the building's metal frame. The grounding electrode conductor should be sized according to the NEC requirements and should be securely connected to the grounding electrode system. The grounding system should also be properly bonded to other metal parts of the building, such as metal conduits, metal enclosures, and metal water pipes, to create an equipotential plane and minimize the risk of electrical shock. Lightning protection is another important consideration for rooftop transformer installations. Lightning strikes can damage transformers and other electrical equipment, and they can also pose a safety hazard to personnel. To protect the transformer from lightning strikes, a lightning protection system may be necessary. The lightning protection system should consist of air terminals, down conductors, and a grounding electrode system. The air terminal should be installed at the highest points of the building and should be designed to intercept lightning strikes. The down conductor should connect the air terminals to the grounding electrode system and should provide a low impedance path for the lightning current to flow to ground. The grounding electrode system should be the same grounding electrode system that is used for the electrical system. In addition to the NEC, local building codes and regulations may also have specific requirements for rooftop transformer installations. These requirements may address issues such as clearances, safety features, and accessibility. It's essential to consult with local authorities to ensure that the transformer installation complies with all applicable codes and regulations. The size of the conductors feeding the 300 kV amps transformer depends on the voltage level. Assuming a three-phase 480 volt system, the calculation is as follows. Firstly, calculate the full load current of the transformer. The formula is kilovolt amps times 1000 divided by the square root of 3 times volts. In this case, it is 300 kilovolt amps times 1000 divided by the square root of 3 times 480 volts, which equals approximately 361 amps. Secondly, refer to NEC table 310.15b16, which is the ampacity table for conductors. This table provides the allowable ampacities for various types of conductors based on their size and insulation type. The appropriate column to use in the table depends on the temperature rating of the terminals on the transformer and the overcurrent protection device. Common temperature ratings are 60 degrees Celsius, 75 degrees Celsius, and 90 degrees Celsius. For example, if the terminals are rated for 75 degrees Celsius, you would use the 75 degrees Celsius column in the table. Thirdly, select a conductor size that has an ampacity equal to or greater than the calculated full load current of 361 amps. According to NEC table 310.15b16, a 500 kcmil copper conductor with a 75 degrees Celsius insulation rating has an ampacity of 380 amps, which is sufficient for this application. Fourthly, consider derating factors. The NEC requires that conductors be derated under certain conditions, such as when multiple conductors are bundled together or when the ambient temperature is higher than the table's reference temperature. If derating factors apply, you may need to select a larger conductor size to compensate for the derating. For example, if there are more than 3 current-carrying conductors in a raceway or cable, the ampacity of the conductors must be derated according to NEC table 310.15 colon. Fifthly, consider voltage drop. Voltage drop is the reduction in voltage that occurs along a conductor due to its resistance. Excessive voltage drop can cause equipment to malfunction or operate inefficiently. The NEC recommends that voltage drop should not exceed 3% for power circuits and 5% for lighting circuits. To calculate voltage drop, you can use the following formula: voltage drop equals 2 times K times I times D divided by circular mils, where K is the constant for the conductor material, which is 12.9 for copper and 21.2 for aluminum. I is the current in amps, D is the one-way distance in feet, and circular mils is the cross-sectional area of the conductor in circular mils. If the calculated voltage drop exceeds the recommended limits, you may need to select a larger conductor size to reduce the voltage drop. Sixthly, select the appropriate overcurrent protection device. The overcurrent protection device, such as a circuit breaker or fuse, must be sized to protect the transformer and the conductors from overloads and short circuits. The NEC provides guidance on sizing overcurrent protection devices for transformers in section 450.3. In general, the overcurrent protection device should not exceed 125% of the transformer's rated primary current if the primary current is less than 9 amps. If the primary current is 9 amps or more, the overcurrent protection device should not exceed 125% of the transformer's rated primary current. The NEC also allows for certain exceptions to these rules, such as when the transformer is protected by a thermal overload relay or when the transformer is part of a coordinated electrical system.